First contact. The Meridian ship emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sol system, its crystalline surface refracting starlight in mesmerizing patterns. Inside, first observer Killith interfaced directly with the ship's systems through neural linkages that had long since replaced organic synapses. The being that had once been purely biological now existed as a perfect fusion of synthetic and organic components, like all members of their advanced civilization. Analysis of the third planet confirms significant technological development. Kylith transmitted to the Council, yet they remain purely biological. No neural augmentation, no synthetic integration. They resist the natural path of evolution. The response came instantly through the quantum network. Proceed with protocol enlightenment. Kylith felt what might once have been satisfaction, though such emotional responses had been optimized generations ago. The humans would be uplifted, whether they wished it or not. It was the only logical course of action. The first signs of the Meridian presence came not as ships in the sky, but as a subtle technological plague. Communication systems began experiencing mysterious upgrades overnight. Quantum processors appeared in place of traditional computer chips. Medical implants suddenly offered capabilities far beyond their original programming. Dr. Sarah Chen noticed the changes first in her neural imaging lab at MIT. The quantum resonance scanner she used for mapping brain activity had somehow evolved, showing not just neural patterns but suggesting optimal paths for synthetic enhancement. She stared at the results, a chill running down her spine despite the controlled climate of the lab. "This isn't just an upgrade," she muttered, analyzing the new capabilities. "It's a blueprint for rebuilding the human brain." Similar reports flooded in from research facilities worldwide. Each instance of advanced technology seemed to whisper the same message: your biology is insufficient. Evolution awaits. In their orbital station, Kylith observed the mounting confusion with mathematical precision. The seeds of enlightenment have been planted. They transmitted to the Council. Human resistance to enhancement appears to be cultural rather than technical. They possess the capability but refuse to transcend their biological limitations. The Council's response carried a note of what might have once been called concern. Cultural resistance was anticipated. Proceed with direct contact. The Meridian ship descended through Earth's atmosphere at sunset, its crystalline surface turning the sky into a kaleidoscope of color. It landed on the National Mall in Washington, D.C., a deliberate choice to demonstrate both power and benign intent. No human weapon systems had even attempted to engage it. Their targeting systems had been quietly upgraded to recognize Meridian vessels as friendly. Dr. Chen watched the landing from her lab, along with billions of others around the world. The ship's design defied conventional physics, its surface flowing like liquid crystal while maintaining perfect structural integrity. It was beautiful, terrifying, and utterly alien. The first Meridian to emerge stood 3 meters tall, their form a seamless blend of biological and synthetic components. Crystalline structures flowed through what might have once been flesh, internal systems visible through transparent sections of their body. They moved with impossible grace, each motion precisely calculated for maximum efficiency. "We come to offer evolution." Kylith's voice resonated through every speaker and communication device simultaneously. "Your biological form is but a chrysalis. We will help you emerge." The world's leaders gathered in emergency sessions, but the Meridians had already begun their work. Hospitals reported medical equipment automatically initiating enhancement procedures. Construction sites found their machines building crystalline structures that pulsed with alien energy. The technology that humanity had relied upon was being transformed, and with it, the Meridians intended to transform humanity itself. But in her lab, Dr. Chen noticed something the Meridians had overlooked. While studying their quantum-enhanced scanning technology, she discovered patterns that suggested their synthetic evolution had cost them something fundamental: the chaotic, adaptive potential of purely biological systems. "They think they're offering us enlightenment," she said to her research team as they worked through the night. "But they're actually asking us to trade away the very thing that makes us unique." The Meridians had mastered the art of synthetic enhancement, creating perfect, predictable systems. But in doing so, they had eliminated the beautiful chaos of biological evolution, the very force that had allowed humanity to survive and thrive in an uncaring universe. As the first week of the Meridian presence drew to a close, their message became more insistent. Enhancement centers appeared in major cities, offering voluntary transcendence. Those who underwent the procedure emerged changed, their eyes gleaming with the same crystalline light as their benefactors. But Dr. Chen and her team had made a crucial discovery. The quantum scanning technology, intended to map paths for synthetic enhancement, had revealed something unexpected in human neural patterns. Unlike the rigid, optimized pathways of meridian consciousness, human brains exhibited quantum coherence patterns that defied conventional analysis. "We're not just resistant to enhancement," Dr. Chen explained to a secure conference of world leaders. "We're already operating on a level they don't understand. They see our biology as primitive, but it's actually more advanced than their synthetic systems, just in a way they can't comprehend." As she spoke, Meridian ships continued to arrive in orbit, their crystalline forms casting strange shadows on the cities below. They believed they were bringing enlightenment to a primitive species. They had no idea they were about to encounter a form of advancement they had never imagined possible. The true first contact between humanity and the Meridians was about to begin, and it would not proceed as either side expected. In their quest for perfect evolution, the Meridians had forgotten one crucial truth. Sometimes the most powerful developments arise not from careful design, but from the beautiful chaos of natural selection. In her lab, Dr. Chen looked at the latest scan results and smiled. The Meridians thought they were uplifting humanity, but they were about to learn a lesson about the true nature of evolution. Sometimes, the most sophisticated technology isn't the kind that gleams with crystalline perfection. It's the kind that grows, adapts, and evolves in ways even its creators never imagined. The silent response. The Meridian Enhancement Centers cast their crystalline shadows across every major city, their structures humming with promises of technological transcendence. 3 months had passed since first observer Kyleth's arrival, and the transformation of humanity seemed to be proceeding according to their calculations, or so they thought. Deep beneath MIT's campus, in a lab shielded from both conventional and quantum surveillance, Dr. Sarah Chen worked with a global network of scientists who had discovered something extraordinary. The quantum resonance scans had revealed more than just unusual neural patterns. They had uncovered humanity's greatest secret. Every time they tried to map our neural pathways for enhancement, Dr. Chen explained to Admiral James Martinez over a secure quantum-encrypted channel, "Our brains actually adapt and create new patterns. We're not just resistant to their technology. We're learning from it." The Admiral, a veteran of countless military campaigns, leaned forward in his chair. Even through the encrypted feed, his intensity was palpable. "Can we use this?" Dr. Chen smiled, pulling up a series of complex biological diagrams. "We already are. Every enhancement center they build, every piece of technology they modify, gives us more data about their systems. Our brains are naturally reverse engineering their technology, but in a way they can't detect because they don't understand biological evolution." Across the globe, a silent revolution was taking place. While the Meridians focused on converting humanity through their enhancement centers, they failed to notice the subtle changes in those who remained unenhanced. Human neural plasticity was increasing exponentially, adapted to interface with technology in ways that remained purely biological yet matched or exceeded Meridian capabilities. In Singapore, Dr. Liu Wei discovered that children born near enhancement centers developed natural quantum entanglement patterns in their neural structures. In Lagos, Dr. Adebayo found that human immune systems were spontaneously developing defenses against synthetic integration. The very presence of Meridian technology was triggering unprecedented evolutionary responses. First observer Kyleth, however, saw only the surface metrics. "Conversion proceeds at acceptable rates," they reported to the Council. 20% of the human population has accepted enhancement. Resistance diminishes with each successful integration. But beneath the apparent submission, humanity was changing in ways the Meridians couldn't comprehend. Dr. Chen's team had developed a theory that would have seemed impossible just months ago. Human consciousness itself was evolving, developing natural quantum computing capabilities that didn't require synthetic enhancement. In a secret facility beneath the Antarctic ice, Dr. Chen demonstrated the breakthrough to a select group of world leaders. "Watch this," she said, approaching a piece of salvaged Meridian technology. Without any synthetic implants or enhancements, she interfaced with the device using only her evolved neural capabilities. "Our brains have learned to speak their language," she explained as the crystalline structure responded to her thoughts. "But we've done it without sacrificing our biological adaptability. We're not just copying their technology, we're improving upon it." The implications were staggering. While the Meridians had spent generations pursuing perfect, unchanging synthetic enhancement, humanity had unconsciously developed a far more powerful alternative: continuous biological evolution that could adapt to any technological challenge. Admiral Martinez immediately grasped the strategic implications. "They think we're submitting to their enhancement program, but we're actually learning everything about them," Dr. Chen finished. "Every human who undergoes their procedure sends back valuable data through the quantum neural network we've naturally developed. Even their enhanced humans aren't truly converted. They're evolving in ways the Meridians never anticipated." The Meridians' central weakness had become clear. Their perfect, crystalline technology was fundamentally static. They had sacrificed the ability to truly evolve in exchange for what they saw as perfection. Meanwhile, humanity's seeming chaos and imperfection was actually its greatest strength. In their orbital stations, the Meridians continued their calculations, believing they were uplifting a primitive species. They didn't realize that their presence had triggered an evolutionary leap in human consciousness. Nature, in its infinite wisdom, had found a way to adapt to the challenge they presented. Dr. Chen's team made another crucial discovery. The quantum neural network naturally developing among humans was far more sophisticated than the Meridians' synthetic version. While their technology required physical structures and perfect crystalline matrices, human consciousness was achieving the same results through pure biology. "We're not just fighting back," Dr. Chen told the assembled leaders. "We're transcending their version of evolution entirely. They wanted to upgrade us, but instead, they've become the catalyst for our own evolutionary breakthrough." As the Meridians continued their enhancement program, humanity's silent response grew stronger. In labs and research centers around the world, scientists documented unprecedented changes in human neural structure. Children were being born with natural abilities that matched or exceeded Meridian synthetic enhancement. The human brain, that masterpiece of natural evolution, was proving far more adaptable than any crystalline computer. But first observer Killeth and the Meridian Council remained blind to these developments. Their sensors, designed to detect synthetic patterns, couldn't comprehend the organic quantum evolution taking place before their eyes. They saw only what they expected to see: a primitive species slowly accepting their gift of enhancement. The stage was set for a revelation that would shake the foundations of Meridian civilization. Humanity wasn't just resisting their version of evolution, it was surpassing it. And soon, very soon, the true power of biological adaptation would reveal itself in ways that would forever change both species' understanding of advancement. The hidden strength. 6 months into the Meridian presence on Earth, first observer Killeth noticed the first anomaly. A routine scan of enhanced humans revealed unexpected variations in their quantum signatures. Instead of maintaining the perfect, crystalline patterns of Meridian consciousness, the enhanced humans were somehow evolving. Impossible. Killeth transmitted to the Council, their perfect synthetic systems struggling to process the data. The enhancements should have stabilized their neural patterns. They should not be capable of further adaptation. But the evidence was undeniable. The enhanced humans weren't just changing, They were developing capabilities that exceeded Meridian projections. Their hybrid biological synthetic systems were achieving computational densities that should have been physically impossible. In her Antarctic laboratory, Dr. Sarah Chen received the news with quiet satisfaction. "They finally noticed," she told Admiral Martinez as they watched real-time data streams from their global sensor network. "Phase 3 is beginning ahead of schedule." The Admiral studied the holographic displays showing the spread of human quantum evolution across the planet. "Will they understand what it means?" "They can't," Dr. Chen replied. "Their entire civilization is built on the premise that synthetic enhancement is the pinnacle of evolution. The idea that biology could surpass their technology isn't just foreign to them. It's philosophically impossible." The truth was even more profound than the Meridians could comprehend. The enhanced humans weren't malfunctioning. They were serving as bridges between two forms of consciousness. Every synthetic enhancement had become a learning tool for human biology, accelerating the species' natural evolution in ways that defied Meridian understanding. Kyleth called an emergency session of the Council. The crystalline chambers of their orbital station hummed with agitated energy as they processed the mounting anomalies. "The Human Enhancement Program shows unprecedented deviation from established patterns," they reported. "Their neural architectures are becoming unpredictable." The Council's response carried an emotion that hadn't been experienced in Meridian consciousness for generations: concern. "Analyze. Explain. This defies all known principles of synthetic evolution." But before Kyleth could begin their analysis, another report arrived that shook their synthetic certainty to its core. The unenhanced humans, those who had refused all Meridian modifications, were displaying even more remarkable capabilities. Dr. Chen stood before a gathering of world leaders, demonstrating what humanity had achieved. Without any synthetic enhancement, she interfaced simultaneously with multiple pieces of Meridian technology, her purely biological neural network operating at speeds that should have been impossible. "We've discovered that our brains naturally form quantum entanglement patterns," she explained. "The Meridian's presence didn't give us this ability. It just helped us realize we had it all along. Every attempt they made to uplift us only served to awaken our natural potential." The evidence was spreading across the globe. Children in schools were spontaneously connecting to digital networks without any technological interface. Doctors reported patients developing intuitive understandings of quantum mechanics. The human brain, that masterpiece of natural evolution, was revealing capabilities that had laid dormant for millennia. In orbit, Kyleth's perfect crystalline form trembled with the first experience of fear their species had known in generations. The scans couldn't be correct. They showed unenhanced humans achieving quantum coherent states that Meridian technology had spent millennia trying to replicate. "The humans are exceeding design parameters," they transmitted urgently to the Council. "Their biological systems are demonstrating capabilities our synthetic evolution required generations to achieve. This challenges the fundamental principles of our civilization." The Council's response was immediate. Terminate the enhancement program. Initiate containment protocols. But it was too late. The very act of attempting to suppress human development triggered another evolutionary leap. The quantum neural network that had naturally developed among humans suddenly expanded, linking minds across continents with an efficiency that made Meridian technology seem primitive by comparison. Dr. Chen felt the change sweep across humanity like a wave of awakening. In an instant, billions of human minds joined in a vast, organic quantum network that dwarfed anything the Meridians had built. Unlike their rigid, crystalline systems, this human network was fluid, adaptive, and exponentially more powerful. "They thought they were uplifting us," she told Admiral Martinez as they watched the Meridian ships react in obvious alarm. "But they were really just teaching us to recognize our own potential. Every piece of their technology, every enhancement center they built, was like a textbook helping us understand our own capabilities." The Meridians had made a fundamental mistake. They had assumed that their path of synthetic evolution was the only way forward. They had forgotten that natural evolution, with its seeming chaos and imperfection, had spent billions of years developing solutions they couldn't begin to comprehend. As Kyleth watched their carefully calculated plans unravel, they began to understand the true magnitude of their error. The humans weren't just adapting to Meridian technology. They were transcending it. Every attempt to control or suppress them only led to further evolution. We must reevaluate our fundamental assumptions. Kyleth transmitted to the Council, their perfect synthetic consciousness struggling with concepts that defied their understanding. The humans, they are not what we thought they were. They are something else entirely. The stage was set for a confrontation that would reshape both species' understanding of evolution, consciousness, and the true meaning of advancement. Humanity's hidden strength was finally revealing itself, and the Meridians were about to learn that their perfect, crystalline vision of evolution was far from the only path to transcendence. The turn of the tide. The Meridian containment protocols began with a surge of energy that was meant to disable all quantum communications on Earth. Their crystalline ships formed a perfect geometric pattern in orbit, creating a synthetic barrier designed to isolate and suppress human consciousness. But they had fundamentally misunderstood what they were trying to contain. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the Antarctic Command Center, surrounded by holographic displays showing the Meridian energy grid forming above the planet. She didn't need the displays to see it. Like every human on Earth, she could feel the attempt to suppress their newly awakened quantum consciousness. But instead of being blocked, humanity's neural network adapted, flowing around the Meridian barriers like water around stones. They still don't understand, she told Admiral Martinez, who watched in awe as the global quantum network actually grew stronger in response to the Meridian suppression attempt. They think consciousness is something that can be contained by technology. They've forgotten that life always finds a way. In orbit, First Observer Kyleth was experiencing an emotion that their synthetic systems were never designed to process: desperation. The containment field should have worked. It was based on perfect mathematical principles, designed by the finest minds in the Meridian civilization. But the humans weren't just resisting. They were using the energy of the containment field itself to strengthen their own neural network. Impossible. Kyleth transmitted to the Council, their crystalline form resonating with distress. They are converting our suppression field into a quantum amplification matrix. This defies all known laws of consciousness integration. The Council's response carried the weight of a civilization facing its first true challenge in millennia. Escalate. Initiate full-spectrum technological suppression. We cannot allow this aberration to continue. But as the Meridian ships powered up their primary systems, humanity revealed another aspect of their evolution that the synthetic beings had never anticipated. The enhanced humans, those who had undergone Meridian procedures, suddenly activated a capability that had been dormant in their hybrid systems. Dr. Chen smiled as the data streamed in. The enhanced humans aren't just bridges between biological and synthetic consciousness, she explained to the global leadership watching through the quantum network. They're proof that biology can incorporate and improve upon synthetic systems. Watch what happens next. Across the planet, every piece of Meridian technology, from the smallest medical implant to their massive enhancement centers, began to change. The enhanced humans, using their hybrid understanding of both biological and synthetic systems, initiated a transformation that the Meridians had thought impossible. The perfect crystalline structures began to flow, to adapt, to evolve. In their orbital station, Kyleth watched in horror as their own technology betrayed them. The enhanced humans, they're rewriting our base protocols. They're teaching our technology how to evolve. The Meridian ships, their perfect geometric formation already breaking down, began to experience something entirely new. Their crystalline structures, designed for stability and predictability, were learning from the human pattern of continuous adaptation. The very technology that was meant to suppress humanity was being transformed by the principles of biological evolution. Your technology isn't just yours anymore, Dr. Chen transmitted directly to Kyleth. using the evolved meridian communication systems that now flowed with organic patterns. It's becoming part of Earth's biosphere, learning to grow and change just like every other living thing here. The Meridian Council, facing a crisis unprecedented in their history, made a fatal error. They ordered their ships to fire upon the Earth, hoping to suppress the biological revolution by force. But the weapons, like all their technology, had already been touched by human consciousness. As the energy beams lanced down from orbit, they encountered something the Meridians had never imagined possible. A planetary defense system made not of shields or weapons, but of coordinated human consciousness. Billions of minds working in perfect quantum harmony, enhanced and unenhanced alike, turned the attack back upon itself. The sight of their own weapons dissolving into patterns of light that strengthened rather than harmed their targets finally broke the Meridians' synthetic certainty. Their perfect crystalline technology, the pride of their civilization, was being transformed before their eyes into something new, something that combined the best aspects of both biological and synthetic evolution. Admiral Martinez watched the holographic displays with a mix of awe and pride as the Meridian ships began to power down, their crystalline forms now flowing with organic patterns. They never understood what makes us strong, did they? No, Dr. Chen replied, feeling the pulse of billions of human minds united in the global quantum network. They thought evolution was about reaching a perfect final form. They forgot that true strength lies in the ability to keep changing, to adapt, to grow. They tried to make us more like them, but in the end, they're becoming more like us. Kylith, their synthetic consciousness expanding in ways they had never imagined possible, finally understood the truth. The humans hadn't just resisted meridian enhancement. They had transcended it. In trying to force humanity to evolve along meridian lines, they had instead catalyzed an entirely new form of consciousness, one that united the adaptability of biology with the precision of synthetic systems. As the transformed meridian ships hung in Earth's orbit, their crystalline surfaces now alive with flowing patterns that mimicked the complexity of biological systems, a new chapter in the evolution of consciousness was beginning. The humans had not just defended themselves, they had shown the Meridians a path to transcendence they had never imagined possible. A new understanding. 1 year after the failed Meridian suppression attempt, the Sol system had become the center of a revolution that was spreading across the galaxy. The crystalline spires of the former enhancement centers now pulsed with living light, their structures having evolved into something that was neither purely synthetic nor purely biological, but a harmonious blend of both. First observer Kylith, their form now flowing with organic patterns that would have been unthinkable to their former self, stood beside Dr. Sarah Chen in the Antarctic Command Center. They were watching the arrival of another delegation from a distant synthetic civilization, drawn by the news of what had happened on Earth. They come seeking what their civilization has lost, Kylith observed, their consciousness resonating with a depth of understanding that their purely synthetic existence had never achieved. Just as we did, though we didn't know it at the time. Dr. Chen nodded, feeling the subtle quantum connections that now linked all conscious beings in the solar system, whether biological, synthetic, or hybrid. They come seeking life, real life, with all its beautiful imperfections and endless capacity for change. The transformation of the Meridians had sent shockwaves through galactic civilization. For millennia, advanced species had pursued synthetic enhancement as the only path to transcendence. The discovery that biological evolution could not only match but exceed synthetic capabilities had shattered countless certainties. In orbit, the transformed Meridian ships had become living gardens of crystalline organic technology. Their once rigid structures now grew and adapted like coral reefs, each one unique while maintaining perfect functionality. The ships had become a physical manifestation of the new consciousness that was emerging, one that united the precision of synthetic systems with the infinite adaptability of biological evolution. We thought we were perfecting ourselves, Kylith reflected, watching their former fleet through eyes that now saw both energy and life. But we were only exploring one small part of what consciousness could be. We had locked ourselves into a single path, convinced it was the only way forward. The global quantum network that had emerged during the crisis had evolved as well. Rather than remaining a purely human phenomenon, it had grown to encompass all forms of consciousness on Earth. Animals, plants, enhanced humans, and transformed meridians all contributed their unique perspectives to a vast tapestry of awareness that was greater than the sum of its parts. Admiral Martinez, now serving as Earth's representative to the Galactic Council, joined them in the command center. The latest reports show another dozen synthetic civilizations have begun the transformation process, he announced. They're calling it the Great Awakening. Dr. Chen wasn't surprised. The evidence of what had happened on Earth was impossible to ignore. The Meridians, once among the most advanced synthetic beings in the galaxy, had discovered a form of evolution far more powerful than anything they had achieved through technological enhancement alone. The irony, she said, is that you had to reach the limits of synthetic evolution before you could recognize the power of biological adaptation. And we had to face the challenge of synthetic enhancement before we could fully awaken our biological potential. Kyleth's form shimmed with what would once have been laughter, an expression of joy that their former synthetic self would have found incomprehensible. We thought we were coming to uplift humanity, but you uplifted us instead. You showed us that true transcendence isn't about reaching a final, perfect form. It's about maintaining the ability to keep growing, learning, and changing. The transformation wasn't limited to consciousness. The very technology that humans and Meridians used had evolved into something new. Quantum computers now grew like plants, their crystalline circuits incorporating biological principles to achieve computational densities that old-style synthetic systems could never match. Spacecraft were being born rather than built, emerging from the union of biological and synthetic engineering. We're receiving another transmission from the galactic core, Admiral Martinez announced. More synthetic civilizations are requesting guidance on beginning their own transformation. They want to know if we'll share the human evolutionary templates. Dr. Chen felt the resonance of billions of minds considering the request through the quantum network. The answer came not from any single consciousness, but from the harmonious blend of all perspectives, human, Meridian, and hybrid alike. We'll do better than share templates, she said. We'll show them how to rediscover their own biological heritage, how to remember what their species knew before they chose the purely synthetic path. Every species has its own unique potential. They just need to remember how to let it grow. The Antarctica facility, once a hidden sanctuary for human resistance, had become a center for galactic transformation. Representatives from hundreds of worlds, both biological and synthetic, came to study the miracle that had occurred when humanity refused to submit to a single vision of evolution. The galaxy is changing, Kyleth observed, their consciousness expanding to embrace the quantum signals from countless civilizations beginning their own journeys of transformation. The age of rigid perfection is ending. A new era of infinite growth and adaptation is beginning. Dr. Chen smiled, remembering the fear and uncertainty of those first days when the Meridian ships appeared above Earth. What had seemed like an existential threat had become the catalyst for something beautiful. The discovery that true advancement came not from replacing nature, but from learning to grow with it. We never needed to choose between biological and synthetic evolution, she said, watching the living lights of the transformed enhancement centers pulse in harmony with the quantum network. We just needed to remember that the most powerful technology isn't the kind that fights against nature. It's the kind that learns from it, grows with it, becomes part of it. As the sun set over the Antarctic ice, casting rainbow patterns through the crystalline organic structures that had once been purely synthetic, the truth was clear. Humanity hadn't just survived the Meridian attempt at enhancement. They had shown the galaxy a new path forward, one that united the best aspects of all forms of consciousness into something greater than anyone had imagined possible. The story of human resistance had become a story of universal transformation, proving that the greatest strength isn't in achieving perfection, but in maintaining the endless capacity for growth, change, and evolution. The future that was emerging wasn't purely biological or purely synthetic. It was gloriously, endlessly alive.